Good day, everybody. So glad to be able to get to spend a little bit of time with you, to really be able to share how all of this came about. Just a short while ago, my wife and I, we had pennies to our name. We had no idea how we were going to make to really be able to make ends meet. And more than anything, we didn't necessarily know how we were going to accomplish what we felt was our purpose. And that purpose was to glorify God through our faith, our family, our finances, our fitness, our fun. And truthfully, we felt like we weren't doing any of those things. Now, we felt like our faith had gotten pretty strong. We felt like we had clear goals for our family, but to be able to actually bring those things into place was a dream. And what we know is that a goal without an action plan really is just that. It's a dream. Again, I'll share with you. My name is Antonio Hughes. And for this next couple of minutes, I just want to share with you how we were able to see incredible things happen, to not only be able to feel like we have really begun to pursue and accomplish our purpose in life, but the fact that we have also sold out to being able to help others learn how to do exactly that. So for this next couple of minutes, I'll just share with you what that has looked like for us. And hopefully it's encouraging to you. Now, we set out years ago with this with this goal in mind to be able to live in those 5 F's. Like I said, faith, family, fitness, finance, and fun. And as we were doing that, we knew that we needed to break that down into smart goals. And I'm talking about things that were attainable and measurable. And you know the acronym. Now, as we look at what this looked like for us, we broke it down into personal, career, and educational goals. And really all of this was because of what's funny is an assignment that had been given to me in a student success class over at Valencia College. It's so interesting that at that particular time, I was actually in my last semester of studying at Valencia to grab my general associate's degree so that I could transfer on to the University of Central Florida. And you'll see where a lot of these things break down. But we knew at that part in time that our goal for our personal lives was to raise a family, hopefully a big family, that would learn to glorify God and identify their gifts and talents and be able to really learn to manage their finances well, not just so that they could accrue this massive amount of wealth, but that they would be able to find ways to use it for meaningful things. And in our case, meaningful really means being able to advance the kingdom of God. We know that everything that we came from, everything that we have came from him. And as a result, we've been looking to find ways to make sure that we can continue to demonstrate to him that we know that he did exactly that. So again, personal goal was that. Now, that required us to have some career goals as well as some educational goals to be able to get there. Our career goal was to build a financial empowerment organization that taught over 1 million families to successfully manage their finances God's way. Now, that was a 25-year goal. In most business plans, you look at 5-year goals, 10-year goals. We knew that if we were going to be successful, we needed to do those things, but we wanted to have a 25-year vision that we could continue to cast as we set out to accomplish those 5 and 10-year goals. I'll also share with you the educational goal is to acquire the educational goal at that particular time was to get the proper licenses, and it was 3 licenses, as well as to be able to accomplish having the associates, the bachelor's, and the master's degree in business administration. That master is coming from the University of Central Florida. Now, all of that seemed really far off as an associate's degree student who was already 28 at the time and was trying to figure out how to actually accomplish all of these things. What was really interesting is that we have seen God do incredible things. So I'll get into this personal goal here really quick. By the grace of God, we have seen that this personal goal has really started to come to fruition. And what I mean by that is that our children are learning how to read God's word. They're learning how to read it, to understand who he is and who he's made them to be. On top of that, they have taken personality assessments and so on to be able to understand how practically they can actually be and do meaningful work. And they've also because of our family business, learned how to manage their finances well, even as young children. And all of that was because way back when, we set a personal goal to do exactly that. Now, why is this important for us? Christine and I both grew up in families where our parents worked extremely hard, and it always felt like it was just to play catch up. And what we realized over the course of time, our families and us, is that what we needed was not necessarily always to earn more money. What we needed to learn was how to actually manage that money. We knew so many people that made great money, but because of the amount of the taxes that they paid or the expenses that they had accrued, built up over time, they felt like they were always one step behind. What we found out is that if we actually found a way to manage that, everything in life got simpler. It allowed us more time to actually pursue the things that were important: our faith, our family, our fitness, our fun. And we've been able to see incredible things happen even since then. Now, there were a lot of challenges along the way. And I have to share with you that we were really stressed out very often. But thankfully, during that class that I was telling you about, in my SLS class, we are actually encouraged to take the Clifton Strengths Test. And as we did, what I found was that I myself was actually I had very, very, very strong beliefs about what life could and should look like, but also those values really emerged and created a very defined purpose for my life. And that was all thanks to the help of mentors like mine, Wave Robinson, and so many others, and our instructor, Professor Kadri, who was incredible at helping us to really define what our purpose was. I actually attribute this particular segment to him, and I'm super grateful for his encouragement and guidance throughout the entire process. On top of that, I also understood, because of that StrengthsFinder test, that I was an activator, that I didn't just want to talk about things, I wanted to do things. I didn't just want to talk about the problems that had existed in my childhood. I wanted to actually find ways to accomplish them. So when we ran into obstacles like not having enough money to start up the business, or when we ran into obstacles such as not having enough to pay for school, or not having what we felt like was enough time to raise a family and run a business and pursue education, we found ways to take action and to make money where we didn't necessarily know where it was coming from. But what's great is that because of our strong beliefs and the work that came from being activators, we were able to see exactly that. Now, I'll talk through first the academic goals that I had at that time, as well as take you through how that has actually helped us to accomplish the career goals. Now, the academic goal was to, again, accomplish those 3 licenses. And those were a 215 from the state of Florida, a Series 6, and a Series 65 that would allow me to do variable investments all throughout the United States. On top of that, I needed some degrees to be able to help me understand how to run the back office for basically how to do the administration part of running a business as an entrepreneur. We actually acquired, both my wife and I acquired our separate degrees, her for counseling and for victims advocacy, and myself for business, both my bachelor's and my master's from the University of Central Florida. Now, these were important for me because I realized that if my goal is to help my kids understand what it looks like to pursue those 5 F's: faith, family, fitness, fun, and finance, I knew that I needed to be leading from a place of authenticity. I knew that I couldn't be telling them to go and do things that I wasn't willing to go and do myself. That would make me a boss. What would make me a leader is going to do exactly what I'm telling them to do, being able to set an example and then ask them pointed questions to help them to ideate, to generate a concept for what that would look like in their lives. And we've been so grateful to see what pursuing an education has allowed for us, and also what it has done for our kids. Now, there were, again, some tough times where, because of the fact that we were raising a family and running a business, and we were constantly trying to figure out how many classes we could take each semester and how quickly we could get done with these degrees, it it really served me that two of my top 5 Clifton strengths were futuristic thinking and achieving. Futuristic thinking because it really allowed me to energize the others in my family that what we were doing, we were going to have to sacrifice for a short amount of time so that we could begin to live the lives that we want. A mentor of mine says that you have to do the things that you don't want to do so that you can do the things that you want to do. In other words, you have to live the life that nobody else lives so that you can live the life that nobody else lives. And that really fuels everything about my futuristic thinking as far as my Clifton strengths is concerned. On top of that, as an achiever, I take immense satisfaction in being busy and productive. Productive more than busy. I don't necessarily like the idea of spending time wasting it. I really enjoy being able to see time being spent and it actually having an investment that pays a dividend at the end. Now, again, those were the obstacles. That's how we were able to overcome those. And thankfully, Clifton strengths really paid off there. But let me talk to you about what the career goals were and how we were able to see incredible things come out of that. What we understood long term is that we wanted to see over 1 million families learn to successfully manage their finances over the next 25 years. We are well on our way during this 25 years to see 6,350 full-time coaches trained, to also see 1 million families helped. Now, let me break down the math for that. If we started right now, if we started from scratch right now with only 2 coaches, 2 financial coaches who have learned with 1 or 2 of those licenses, who have learned to go out and actually help families structure their finances. If we started with only 2 right now, and every year we grew by 30 or 40%, we would have an opportunity over the next 25 years to see 6,350 full-time coaches trained, as well as having 1 million cumulative families helped that have a plan, that know where they're going, and that know how to get there because of the plan that we've provided for them. We knew in the beginning, if we didn't start small, we would never reach these numbers. But now, here we are, years later, and we actually are well on our way to seeing this happen with over 30 and 40% growth every year, because our focus is not on gaining more clients personally. Our focus is on training individuals who want to actually do meaningful work and to get paid very well for doing it. We actually were able to become partners with my mentor, Wade Robinson, and as a result, became partners in Kingdom Financial Solution. Our goal as an organization is literally to provide an opportunity for individuals to become all that they were made to be by stewarding the resources that God has given them. If you want to learn a little bit more about what it would look like to either be a client or a coach, you can actually go to kingdomfinancial.solutions, and you can scroll down to the bottom of the homepage and you can actually book an appointment to sit down. And I'd love to spend anywhere from half hour to an hour to really just kind of be able to cast some vision, to answer questions, and potentially even set up a plan for you. If it becomes a great fit for you, we'd be happy to be able to serve you any way that we could. But we knew when we started out that if we didn't take this seriously, this was never going to come to fruition. Well, thankfully, we're, again, well on our way to seeing this come to fruition. This is important to us because, again, like I shared earlier, we have 4 major areas that are important to us. My wife, victims advocacy, which her degree is in, as well as human trafficking. She has a huge heart to make sure that individuals who have been involved in human trafficking, that they find safe places to be able to rehabilitate and to reacclimate really with mainstream society. We also have a huge heart for sports ministry as well as church ministry, to be able to see the gospel set people free all across the world. People who are wondering, who am I? What was I created for? Why are we actually here? And what happens when we pass away? In light of the answers to those questions, how should I live my life and in order to make it count? And what we love is to be able to make sure that things like that happen, but we have huge hearts to give you can't give much if you don't necessarily have the resources to do it, which is why this was so important for us in the beginning. So it wasn't just for us to be able to make money, but also to be able to help others become free so that they could do the things that they were passionate about. So we were actually faced with numerous obstacles. And in doing that, we knew that if we didn't stay positive, which again is one of my Clifton strengths, to be able to have a contagious enthusiasm that really helps others see where we're going, what we're doing, and to help them get excited about it, as well as staying with a futuristic thinking mindset, being able to think about where we're going and not necessarily just where we are right now. That really helped us understand what we were supposed to do and continue to cast the vision in a way that was impactful for those that we served. What role Valencia played in my journey is actually helping me to start all of this. Because of the assignment that I completed there in my my SLS class, I was actually able to really get started in putting together a final plan for what all of this would look like. What I also understood is that over the course of time, each of the degrees that I had, they needed to start with something. And Valencia College allowed me to complete my general studies degree there as an associate's degree, and to be able to direct connect right to UCF, where I was able to finish the rest of my studies. I feel as though I'm forever indebted to Valencia College and to Professor Kadri. Thank you to both for the work that they have done in order to make sure that me and my wife and our kids could be here where we are now. I'm so grateful and forever indebted and thankful that you had spent some time here with us today. Look forward to being able to help any way that we can. Outside of that, God bless, go Knights, and charge on.